Hello guys and welcome back to Watching Time. Today I'm going to be reviewing a watch that just makes me smile every time I see it. I think it is important to talk a little bit about it and just to share what my impressions are, my feelings, the emotions that it evokes, because at the end of the day, whatever the price of a watch that you're going to be buying, it is really all about your emotions, what that watch is going to be bringing you back. So, this is the Spinnaker 50 Phantoms. Obviously, you see a resemblance, case wise, to the most famous, one of the most famous divers, the Blancpain 50 Phantoms, which obviously has been talked about a lot for the last year or so with Swatch and their collaboration in plastic. So it's attuned to actually repropose a little bit of what 50 Phantoms is with a little bit of a laugh. So first of all, let's talk about the Spinnaker. For all of you, we cannot say it's at all it's a micro brand. It is a brand at all effects, Asia based, and they have been there for a lot of years now. So they have been obviously producing and basing basically their line of production of watches on historical shapes. And that's definitely not a, a bad turning point or whatever. So you will have models that they present that have cushion shape cases, kind of like Panerai. You will have watches that resemble more other watches from history, like with an inner bezel, divers. You will have this one that actually resembles a lot and takes inspiration from the 50 Phantoms. You will have, for example, the Dumas, which reprises on lines of some divers from the 70s, 90s. You will also find that there are other watches like the Volcano Black, Picard. The Picard, it's kind of homaging the first Rolexes that were made for diving with big cases. Well, you have an infinity, and I think that's the point. You have GMT cases that, for example, the Croft, that resembles a lot a Black Bay. So it is something that I think is important to put it straightforward, because Spinnaker reputation is based basically on producing watches that are homaging other watches. And in this take, this particular watch, which is it's based on the line that they call that it's resembling, obviously, the 50 Phantoms, and they call the Fleurs automatic. So it is a watch that plays on that in a very nice way. And in particular, Spinnaker, for the last few years, they have also made themselves known for modifying dials, presenting themselves with interesting colorways, or doing collaborations. This is the case of a collaboration. It is a limited edition, and it's a collaboration that they launched around Halloween, actually, with Seconde Seconde. So for anyone that doesn't know who Seconde Seconde is, he is, let's put it this way, the easiest way to explain it, he's a writer, graphic, a street, let's put it, compare it to kind of a street writer, graffiti designer, that actually vandalize instead. Well, vandalize is a strong word, because actually they're making some things beautiful in some cases, but he vandalizes watches in order to shape them in something else. And part of his evolution was based on changing the seconds hand of watches, which is a small touch, bring a little bit of joy and fun, changing a little bit the perspective of watches. And it has been 2023, his year of vandalizing and being paid for that. So he has been participating with a lot of brands, from important big brands like Timex, for example, to micro brands like Isotope, uh, or brands that are also well known in the world of diving like Squale. Difference from the Squale version that he made, which I love and enjoy because it's really a take of fun on a Squale. What I didn't like, it's not dependent on Seconde Seconde, but it's actually dependent on the quality production of the watches. The lume just sucks, and it's not standard for a diver of that watch, and that's a pity because it brings down even the collaboration that he made with Squale. So let's go back to this one. This one actually got all the pieces right, and I just love it because the first edition that came out in Halloween was black, so reprising from the natural black colors of the blank paint 50 Phantoms. And they launched it same with a black leather strap and a rubber tropic style strap that I have it here. Very nice boxing, etc. But it was very limited also, so it just sold out very quickly. And the second launch that they decided to make was, okay, we are going to be reproposing the same collaboration, but in a blue color and without a limit of orders. So you can put your order through, it's a pre-order, and you can order as much as you want, but in a certain period of time. So they repropose a blue version with a dark blue bezel, and this one that is called the Phantom Mist blue edition, which the bezel, as you can see, it's phantom, we can call it, because it's a very light blue. It actually resembles the naturally aging aluminum bezels, the tropic bezels that you see in some vintage watches. So for me, this was the one to go. Definitely, I have a lot of blue watches, and this one has that small take that made it a little bit more interesting for myself. So I ordered this, and I was lucky also because this one was ordered quite less. So at the back of the case back, you can actually see the number of production, and this says one of 2,294. And if I remember correctly from numbers that this Spinnaker gave through Instagram, the blue one, the blue one, completely blue, actually was producing more than 5,000 pieces. So definitely there is a difference between this one and the other one. A lot of more orders went into the classic blue. And I'm more happy now to know that there are less people that are going to be having this Phantom Mist. So let's go for it. First of all, it's a watch that it's not small. So it's going to be fitting a particularly big wrist, at least better. But that's also was the idea of the 50 Phantoms, if you think that some of the earlier 50 Phantoms were around 45 millimeters. So this one is a 43. The case thickness is 12, and then you have a lug to lug of 51. So it is big, and it's going to be very big. So please, if you have a small wrist, think about it. Obviously, you can wear big watches, but this will probably sit on your wrist like a big 46 millimeter Panerai sits on mine. And that's a cushion shape case, so definitely wears even bigger. So bear this in mind when you're going to be deciding on buying this model, even if right now you cannot, because obviously, as I was saying, it's limited. But I wouldn't be surprised that they do a second collaboration, probably by next October, and they repropose this in a green colorway, for example. So that could be an idea that they can do and develop with Seconde Seconde. I see this as a fruitful collaboration. This is also a good example of how micro brands that in some point of views might have a lower value might become of greater value. And I'm not speaking about reselling. I'm actually speaking towards what it gives to you back. Do I own a lot of Spinnakers? No, actually, I only own one. And that one doesn't have a Spinnaker written on the dial. It's a nice model. I will review it later probably. But I don't, being a watch apasionado, I usually don't like homaging watches unless there is something fun, and Spinnaker is mostly homaging. So that brings me to the point that if I really have to homage, I'd rather have no logo. And I really don't like a Spinnaker logo. That's the other thing. It is just too big. Why they don't just work around a logo like this? Well, it actually reminds me of another brand, but that doesn't have the big written Spinnaker on the dial. That's just my opinion. So that's also something I don't like. Anyway, here it's hidden. And it's hidden among all the confusion that this watch brings, because what Seconde Seconde thought was, instead of changing a second hand, why don't we play with the name 50 Phantoms? And let's put in the dial 50 Phantoms. So that was the idea around it. And actually, there are 50. So that's the real number. And some people were telling me, oh, good luck on reading the time on that. But I have to say, it actually works. The difference in colors between the hours, minute hands, the markers, and the phantoms itself, and just the way they have been distributed through the dial. Actually, it's not difficult to see quickly the time. But that's not only. We're talking here about a $350 watch. Obviously, it's being imported from Asia, so you will have to pay probably taxes on top of that. But we're talking about something that is quite cheap. And they are, in this sense, very straightforward. They have done a limited edition. They are not charging you much more for that. It is a watch that has an NH38 movement inside from Seiko. So lower end, cheaper movements, obviously. It's not an NH35 that would have been sacked, it's totally less quality than the 38. But they are not trying to be something more. They are what they are, and this is something that I recognize from Spinnaker. Unless they're bringing something that is totally innovative, and they could because of the production capabilities, they are just trying to say, this is what we are, and we're bringing this to everyone. And in this case, they're bringing a collaboration that it's full of details. I would try to focus a little bit better on the camera, but I think it's important for you to notice the dial. So first of all, obviously the dial has this kind of pattern that looks like if it's like some sort of fabric. I really like it. It's texturized, but at the same time, every phantom, it's just perfectly placed there. And you have actually 3 layers of phantoms. You have the ones more on top, the biggest ones that have been colored with a lume that it's green from a different tone, and that pops up immediately as you are seeing it from the video. You have a lower kind of same size phantoms that have another type of lume, so it's blue, and then you have smaller ones on the back, and they are actually multi-layer, as you can see from here. They are multi-layer on the dial, and it just creates a very, very nice effect. Add to that the fact that Seconde Seconde has really done an excellent job making this something commemorable, full of Easter eggs details. So you have 50 phantoms written in letters, not like the ones you find in Blancpain. It's not phantoms, but actually phantoms. You have, instead of 50 feet, well, actually it's not 50 feet, the Blancpain, the original one, but you have here no feet, because ghosts have no feet. So that just makes me laugh already. And then at the back of the case, you also have the rotor that has been vandalized by Seconde Seconde with a very, very nice glow-in-the-dark ghost. So I think the devil is all about the details. And in this watch, for the price point, in this collaboration, if you want to have something from Seconde Seconde, it's giving much more back to what it actually is. And you have the leather brand, the leather strap, which is actually very good, by the way, with the name of them both. And on here, you have these 2 circles that are actually the eyes of the phantoms. So that's a nice detail. You don't have it anywhere else. You have obviously Spinnaker. Here you have the crown with the logo. And in the rubber, they say rubber, but I think it's FKM. A strap that they include also, you have the same details. Look here, you have the ghost's eyes On the back of it, nothing. You have a Spinnaker written on it, but that's it. But on the top part, you have that really nice detail, and it's a very nice quality strap also. So, end of the story. I am really loving this collaboration, and the best part is that I hardly see a Spinnaker written on it because the ghosts are just all over. And it's this case in particular, I actually proud that it says Spinnaker so that people know, because this is definitely an attention driver. Look at my wrist, it's an 18.5 centimeters wrist, and as you can see, it's very borderline. It's a 43 millimeter. I can pull it off, but it is a big watch. And that's something that you need to be aware if you are going to be buying one of these models for whatever reason, compared to smaller watches like the 54, or even if we are going back to homage, this is the Squale, homage in the Submariner. The size obviously is a 40 millimeter, 39 I think, but as you can see, there is a big difference obviously with this watch. But that was also the spirit of the 50 Phantoms, historically speaking. So I think the 43 millimeters works at the end of the day. Anyway, guys, I really hope that you like this video. If you like it, please subscribe. Obviously, it's always helpful for us to keep doing this, but either if you subscribe or not subscribe, at the end of the day, we'll still be doing this because we do it for you guys, and we are not on this to make money or anything like that. We buy what we like, we share what we like. See you in our next video. Until then.